Okay, last homework problem. We have an r squared one. So I am thinking it's symmetric to the pole. And so sure enough, when I try that, I get yes. So that means if it's symmetric to the pole, then it's going to give me plus or minus, and you'll see how nice it comes. I can do both at the same time. So I really actually went on and tested, and this one has all symmetries. So it's symmetric to the theta equals pi over 2. It's symmetric to the polar axis, and it's symmetric to the pole, so that can help us in any way. So the first one I'm going to do is put in 0, and I get plus or minus 9. So when I get 0, I get plus or minus 9. And you see plus or minus means I can do this point right here in yellow, and then the minus 9, because here I'm at 0, this would be the plus 9, and going backwards, this would be the minus 9. So I got 2 points from that one. Now, when I do pi over 12, and I decided to do pi over 12, you get negative 8.4. So I get negative 8.4, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to use purple to show you. I'm right there. Now, because it's plus or minus, I can also get this point right here, right? Because, oops, let me use the purple. Because it's backing up, so I'm going to put a point right there. Now, I'm going to get 2 more points. Because it's also symmetric to the polar axis, that means if I have a point here, I have to have a point here. So I'm going to put the other point in the same place, about negative 8.4. And now, because I had one over here, I get one over here. So look, I got 4 points out of 1 for that because of symmetry. That's why we do this, guys, so that it becomes easier to graph. All right, going on to pi over 6. Whoops. Pi over 6, I get positive 6.4 and negative 6.4. So that's this point here. All right, so mark it there. Because of symmetry, I know that it has to have this point here, this one. Oops, purple. And because of symmetry, I know it has to have, because it's plus or minus, I know that it has to be at 7 pi over 6 also. And because of symmetry, it has to be up here. Now, when I go to the next point, pi over 4, I get 0. So I come back to 0. Now, you might think, okay, well, you only got to from pi over 6 to pi over 4. What happens when you take pi over 3? When I take pi over 3, I end up with a negative. So all these give me negatives under the square root, so they don't exist, which would mean all of these don't exist either. So my graph is just these 2 pretty petals, very symmetric, all types of symmetry. Okay, so that's like the easiest way to graph when you have all that symmetry. I only had to plot 4 points to get it. All right, so that is your homework. Good lesson today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.